I really like this program. I really like it a lot.
It's a breeze.
DataPerfect is definitely unique. It's unlike any other database package out there.
It amazes me. It really does.
With DataPerfect, WordPerfect continues to uphold its reputation for creating and developing the finest software in the world. My name is Royce Bybee, Director of Marketing for DataPerfect. In the next few minutes, I'd like to show you some of the reasons behind the development of DataPerfect and let you see what kind of response DataPerfect is getting from users all over the country. DataPerfect was developed by Lou Bastian, a database specialist. As a graduate of MIT, he worked for IBM as the director of database design. In 1984, he created a database manager for WordPerfect.
We had two main goals originally: ease of use, ease of defining a database, and then ease of using it were the main goals. The other goal, however, was power. We did want to be able to capture the power of the database programs that were available.
Lou created DataPerfect for a specific type of person, a computer user who wanted to create his or her own complex databases without having to learn a programming language.
We felt that a programming language would be something that would deter most people from being able to implement the database that they wanted. We wanted people to be able to tell us what the database was supposed to do and not how to do it. We would try to figure that out for them.
So DataPerfect was designed with a built-in programming language. And now, from law firms in Washington, D.C., to state universities in Texas, to software developers in Arizona, all kinds of computer users are creating their own databases with DataPerfect without learning a programming language.
To be able to create the same kinds of things that someone who went to school and has a degree in computer science, to be able to create the same kind of database and have it work as well, and in some cases on head-to-head trials, better and faster, to me makes the built-in programming language in DataPerfect far more important than whether or not I personally wrote the program.
Once I got used to the idea that the database can have its functions designed into its structure without giving it specific instructions, I kind of like that. I think that's a novel and very useful idea.
We've seen the various programs that require you to do application programming, in effect, to arrive at the decent interfaces and entry screens and that kind of thing that have to be custom designed in those products. And for us, DataPerfect allows us to do the exact same thing at a fraction of the time and cost.
With DataPerfect, you don't have to invest money into hiring a programmer, and you don't have to understand a programming language. You only have to invest time into learning it. After learning to create a database, you'll find that it's even easier to modify.
We wanted people to be able to define a database that they thought would solve their problems. And then when they found that either because of growth needs within the company or at home or wherever they were using it, or simply because they had learned enough so that they could see that they needed to change their database, whatever happened, that they'd be able to go back to their original database, make those changes quickly and easily.
The design of DataPerfect allows us to go back and modify on request very easily.
It doesn't take long to construct a new database. but in my experience in working with the other database systems, making modifications was quite time-consuming and quite laborious. And in DataPerfect, it's very easy to make changes and updates without a lot of work, and it can be done very quickly. And I think that saved us a great deal of time in bringing the database up to where we need it to be.
DataPerfect not only lets you quickly modify a database, but it also makes it easy for end users to use the information in that database.
As a previous WordPerfect user, I was almost immediately able to start using DataPerfect because most of the keystrokes are exactly the same. I already knew 75% of how to use DataPerfect right away.
Our office has mandated that we use WordPerfect, so it's a standard, and everybody in our office knows WordPerfect, so it's been a great help that we don't have to retrain individuals totally to use DataPerfect.
I will sit down and train one-on-one the navigation. It doesn't take very long because they pick up on the keystrokes. DataPerfect is very much like WordPerfect in that the keystrokes are pretty much identical. F7 exits, F1 cancels.
We created the lookup feature because most people, we found, wanted to quickly find individual pieces of information.
The lookup capability is unparalleled in the database industry. The ability to, without knowing anything about computers, to be able to type an up arrow, start typing a last name, and have the computer automatically find the record I'm looking for based on that last name. For me to write that same kind of functionality in another database platform would take me weeks or even months to be able to get it to be as fast and efficient as DataPerfect.
The lookup feature allows your users to locate a record very rapidly, no matter what type of information in the database they're looking for.
The lookup has been excellent. We've been looking for documentations that we can find it in a matter of seconds versus other database programs.
We wanted people to be able to build structured reports, reports that could be hierarchical in nature, to go through and produce quickly, if you will, draft mode reports that would produce information for them, to be able to go in and do polished reports, especially if they would send those reports to WordPerfect.
It is definitely the best of any program that I've worked with as far as making it so that people, users who are not computer oriented, can actually use the data that they have. Many database applications restrict the ability of people to use them simply because they're too complicated to get a report out or something like that.
DataPerfect has got probably one of the best report writers out there as far as in comparison to some of the other packages. It allows you to navigate the relational capabilities of the database pretty much seamlessly.
DataPerfect keeps it simple. Many keystrokes in WordPerfect and DataPerfect are similar, and features like lookup and reports make it easy to access the information you need. The speed of your database will be remarkably fast. This and the ability to design databases yourself will save you time and money.
It's so fast. That is also a great thing about DataPerfect. It saves me days in doing a project.
Clearly, in comparison to the projects in which we used other programs and software packages to produce the same result, it took us less time and cost us less money to do it with DataPerfect.
The rapid retrieval saves the legal assistants that assist the attorneys on the cases time when they're looking to get the information. the speed is phenomenal, and that saves hours of labor that would normally call for going through the documents, whereas here they can just view it on screen.
It does save time, and it does save money, and it does make a person's job infinitely easier.
DataPerfect is designed to save you time. And since DataPerfect comes network ready, even more time will be saved avoiding lengthy network adjustments.
We wanted people to be able to forget that the network was there. We wanted people to be able to define a database without thinking about the network, put it on a network, and have it automatically work.
If there's 10 people in the same record, all at the same time, all making changes, DataPerfect will manage the collision so that the data isn't lost and people understand that the changes are made.
I was surprised to find that DataPerfect comes network ready. And there is no problem in installing it on a network, and once it's there, it's totally transparent to the users. Each user believes that he or she is at an individual workstation.
We've got an application out there where we have, we can have at any one time, 96, 97 users, and right now DataPerfect can handle up to 150. So we'll probably start, having 120, 130 different users all at the same time, all of them using the database, and none of them are experiencing degradation of the system because there are that many people out there. The nature of DataPerfect is such that your first user and your second user, even your 150th user, all have a really, really fast database.
DataPerfect is prepared for network needs, and it's just as prepared to handle large databases.
I've found that DataPerfect is capable of handling very large databases with great speed.
I have not come across an instance yet where our computer system, which has roughly 1,500 megs of memory and it runs at 36 hertz, has been slowed down in the least. In fact, DataPerfect, the only thing that seems to take any time is when we do the name indexes and we're exporting that over to WordPerfect. It takes about 10 minutes, I guess, to shift 7,300 files. Of course, the other database that I had took 2 days.
Our largest database out there has got 20,000 records as far as record size. We've got another database out there, our legislative database, that since we're keeping so much textual information, is approaching 15 megabytes of storage. But even then, we're able to find any one record among all of those different records in usually under 3 seconds.
You can depend on DataPerfect's power to handle large databases. And as you would expect from a WordPerfect product, customer support will help you with the basics of database handling.
The manuals are written very well. There are a lot of things that you can do just by reading the manual. But occasionally, I get impatient. I'm in a hurry. I want to do it fast. So I call the support team, and they guide me right through it.
I think the biggest selling point of this program is customer support, because when I first set it up, I ended up spending hours on the phone with customer support, and I was really amazed how much time they're willing to spend with me over the phone. And it really helped me a lot.
I think probably one of the more important parts about selecting DataPerfect as a database system is customer support. If there is one thing that will drive a customer absolutely nuts, it is not getting any support.
I have come to learn that the DataPerfect support group is a very close-knit group. I'm sure they know me by name by now. Initially, when we began using DataPerfect, I was phoning out quite frequently for help, and they were always there with an answer.
If you ever bring a problem to them, that represents something that might be a needed enhancement in the database, it actually goes somewhere. They take it to people in development, and they actually turn around and fix the problem, or fix the thing that would make DataPerfect run even better for you. And to me, that's the way a support system ought to be made up.
Many WordPerfect customers already know how helpful support can be in learning to use WordPerfect. DataPerfect users have this advantage as well. WordPerfect users can also benefit from DataPerfect's ability to exchange information between WordPerfect, PlanPerfect, and DrawPerfect.
We wanted people to be able to retrieve information from PlanPerfect, WordPerfect, all of the WordPerfect products. We wanted DataPerfect to be able to produce data that could be used by the other products, especially as input to WordPerfect, so that people could produce really polished reports.
We use DrawPerfect, WordPerfect, PlanPerfect. Basically, we're a WordPerfect shop, and our users, user base, they use all of WordPerfect programs. Therefore, we have, when we're pulling information into DataPerfect, we will possibly use it from WordPerfect Notebook or WordPerfect itself as a secondary or a merge file. We also do take information that has been put into a database, and we'll export it as a secondary merge file.
DataPerfect has a very good interface with both WordPerfect and with PlanPerfect, both of which I use extensively in my operation. And it is extremely easy to export data to PlanPerfect and then re-import it.
All of the information that you have in a DataPerfect database can instantly be taken over to the word processor using WordPerfect Office. And that's when you have the marriage of WordPerfect Office, and DataPerfect. You have an ideal setup, because you can take information back and forth to what they have in the WordPerfect Office clipboard.
DataPerfect is unique. It lets you exchange information with other WordPerfect products, and it lets you create powerful databases without having to learn a programming language.
With DataPerfect, I think just about anyone who's computer literate that's willing to spend the time, they have a fighting chance of understanding databases and making good use of the product.
If this sounds like the database manager for you, try it with the guarantee that we'll refund your money if you're not completely satisfied.
We're asking you, are you cut out for DataPerfect? Is DataPerfect right for you? We don't want you to buy it unless it will do what you need it to do.
DataPerfect takes care of the little chores for me.
It can do so much. It's not limited by anything that I found.
So much of the work has already been done for me.
It does so many complex and complicated things, but it makes it look easy. It makes it seem simple. And to me, that's true elegance. That's true simplicity, true sophistication.